target marker over the top of their head. And so again, you consume somebody and you gain a memory, but whereas in the first game getting a memory was an end unto itself, this time around getting a memory actually unlocks a brand new mission in the world. So is the mission that we've just unlocked, and of course brand new power in the shape of the tendrils.
Powers, yeah.
Tendrils are pretty much my favourite thing in the game.
Great.
They're so crazy and over the top and so procedural, you never ever see the same thing twice, which is really, really cool.
And then ripping the rocket launcher off the tank and using it against its previous host.
Yeah, and why not?
Yeah, that's great.
It just fits into our IP perfectly. But my James Heller is going to be very different to your James Heller by the time you finish the game.
Looks like there have been many graphical improvements made to the game.
Yeah, we've improved graphics in two ways. One of which is by creating a brand new rendering engine, and also we have a brand new art director for Prototype 2 who's done an absolutely stunning job to this point. We're really proud of the way that the graphics are going this time around, and we feel like we're knocking it out of the park.
Here he's going into a lair?
Yeah, this is an underground lair. It's basically an infected breeding chamber, and from a player's standpoint, it's also kind of an underground treasure chest. So by consuming certain enemies, in this example, a spiked brawler, you can actually upgrade your powers this time around. You can make your blade bigger, faster, sharper, more deadly. And you'll also see here that players are much more in control of the combat this time around. You can always see which enemy is the most important one in the environment, the most deadly one, and you can see the attacks coming and react to them using things like the tactical dodge to leap over the top, and you have that moment of slow motion to really to be able to reassess the battlefield and decide what it is that you want to do next.
You can hack limbs off enemies, cut them in half.
Yeah, like dismemberment is another big key feature that fits perfectly into our world. But it's not just aesthetic. For example, if you take the leg off an enemy, it'll move much more slowly through the environment. And if you take the arm off it, then it will limit its attacks to something more manageable.
There's certain enemies where you cut their legs off and their torso will still crawl to you as like a walking landmine, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Our enemies are fairly resilient and determined, and they're going to keep coming back at you until they're done. And what you're now seeing is our Juggernauts, which are two of our brand new enemies. And these guys, you really don't want to get too close to. So the best way to deal with them is to stand back and really use the tendrils to deal with them, keep them at arm's length. Or just rip their arms off is even simpler. Yeah, that works too.
Now, a lot of our readers have been asking us, is there going to be any multiplayer in Prototype 2?
That's something that we talked about a lot at the beginning of the project, but ultimately we decided that it was basically to compromise us from a production schedule point of view. We wanted the opportunity to really execute the hell out of the single player experience and make it as polished as we could possibly make it. And multiplayer was basically going to prevent us from doing so. So while multiplayer is interesting to us in the long term, it's not something that we're including with Prototype 2.